Hey Kara, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are y'all doing?
Doing well. Here we go. So just jumping right in, I'm sure we'll probably have a few more people join, but we're just going over investing in our social connections this week, which I'm pretty sure this month was Social Connection Month. So there's a bunch of resources throughout the bank. I'm sure you guys have seen them. If not, let me know. I think most of them are virtual options. I think they're also posted on Yammer. So then just moving on to like why we need social connections. I have this quick little video. It's pretty
If you talk
good.
to someone that has recently moved, started a new job, or retired, and ask them what they miss most about their past situation, one of the most common answers is that they miss the people that were in their life. What that actually means is that they miss the social connections or relationships that they had with those people. Social connections or social interactions with other individuals is crucial to mental health, which in turn is crucial to overall health. The lack of social connections has shown to increase stress hormones, weaken the immune system, and lessen cardiovascular functions. People who are lonely tend to consume more alcohol, exercise less, have less quality sleep, and fatigue easily. Social relationships allow you to share your achievements and have support when times are tough. Imagine achieving a long-term goal you had. What's the first thing you want to do? Tell someone, of course. Or imagine if something terrible happened. Not having someone to lean on and talk to can make that event linger and make you feel even more isolated. Giving support in relationships can actually be more beneficial than receiving support. When someone shares something positive in their life with you, it's a compliment. They wanted you to be a part of their success, and they know that you have a sincere interest in their life. And when someone shares a tragedy in their life, you know they really trust you, and they're looking to you to help them through this difficult time. Now, some social relationships can be bad. A person that is constantly negative and has a poor outlook can bring you down and cause stress, making that relationship toxic. Someone that always talks about themselves and makes all of your interactions about them, well, that's not really a social connection. In that case, you're just an audience member in their one-person show on how wonderful their life is. Poor marital or poor relationship quality can also weaken the immune system and erode physical health. Dealing with stress from a poor relationship can lead to over-consuming food or alcohol, smoking, or taking medications to deal with the stress, which in turn can damage systems in the body. Connections through social media can be beneficial by allowing you to stay in touch with friends and family. However, social media connections are not a good alternative for face-to-face in-person contact, and too much time spent on social media can lead to more isolation and a greater feeling of loneliness. It's a good practice to use social media in moderation. To be healthy, we need people in our lives. It doesn't need to be 5,000 Facebook friends, and we don't have to have everyone like us. Having strong social relationships with just a few people is fine. A few people that we can share life's good and bad moments with, a few people that we can connect with on a regular basis with no stress and no judgments. A few people who accept us for who we are. Surround yourself.
So yeah, that's just a short little video that I feel like really encompasses the entirety of this like little module. So it shows like the impact on our mental and physical health, which is actually really, really awesome that it shows that, because a lot of people think that it's just more of the mental health, but seeing how it can weaken our immune system and lead to adverse effects in our habits is really important. So then I just wanted to touch on social media again, which I know we've done in the past, but just kind of looking at some pros and cons. That's personally how I like to look at things. So I thought it might be beneficial, especially right now, since I know we're all on social media a lot, or at least most of us, with the COVID having us inside and away from our loved ones. So the ability to instantly connect with others, and then also that quick relay of information and connections is really awesome. But with that also comes like the fear of missing out, constant self comparison. And it's not really a true human connection. You have time to filter yourself. If you're even just texting someone, you can go back and retype, which can be, I guess, a pro and a con, but it's just not as genuine as talking to someone over the phone or picking or like going seeing them in person. Is there anything else you guys can think of to add to that list? quiet today. That's all right. It's Monday. And then another big aspect of social connections I think that most people forget about is setting boundaries. So boundaries are really important in establishing one's identity, and it's a crucial aspect of mental health and well-being. So if you don't have any boundaries, sometimes people see you as a people pleaser or just you're willing to do anything for anyone. Boundaries can be physical or emotional, and they can range from being really loose or to really rigid. And I'd say most healthy boundaries often fall somewhere in between. There's room for compromise, but there are some things that you hold steadfast. And then boundaries can and should be set with family, friends, coworkers, partners, anyone who's in your life regularly, I would say. Just gives you a really good outline of how you should be treated and what you should expect. And it can also contribute to valuing oneself and self-compassion. So putting healthy boundaries into action, this is just a really simple way. It's obviously a lot harder, especially when maybe you haven't had those boundaries for a while. First, you have to make yourself a priority and remember that these are there to protect you and to make your life better. It's okay to say no to people, and people are probably going to get upset, but that's usually just because they were benefiting from you not having boundaries. So identify areas of needs or your values, and then communicating them is one of the hardest parts. Setting consequences and standing behind your boundaries. So knowing when someone's crossed that line and when you should say something or when it's just time to leave can be really difficult, but it'll be worth it in the long run. Does anyone have any questions or anything to add to this? I know that that's kind of a big component. Nope, we'll just keep chugging along. And then on a more positive note, improving the relationships we already have is really important, especially keeping in touch when maybe we're a little more isolated during COVID. The most important thing that we can invest into our relationships are time and effort. So taking time to call people, text them, or visit, if you can, your friends and family. Expressing gratitude and admiration are really important, showing that person that you care and appreciate them. And then managing conflict without criticism, defensiveness, or any kind of ignoring tactic is really important and will be worthwhile. So, not getting upset when somebody does something that maybe you didn't like, maybe they just didn't realize it. So, learning how to healthily communicate your issues without blame. So that can be difficult, but using I feel statements or just asking the person maybe what they were doing, like their point of view, can be really helpful. Any questions, comments? Okay. And then also, forming new relationships and connections. Some of us are not local to Wilmington. I know I moved here from a different state. So science says we need at least 3 close members of our social support system. Obviously, life changes and can be quite unpredictable, and there's no harm in expanding our social network. So, people may move away from you and you won't really have that close connection anymore. So it's okay to always bring in new people. So reaching out to people you may seem a little bit more alone or in need, volunteering to meet some new people, joining an organization of interest, or creating your own club, or joining a program like this where we're all going to support each other, and maybe you'll find more in common with somebody that you haven't really talked to much. And then being kind to everyone and trying new things. I think that's just the golden rule, is just be kind. So those are just some really simple outlines of making new connections. And then our little challenges for this week, picking 1 or 2 of the following activities and practicing it. So random acts of kindness is probably my favorite. Could be 2 to 3 small things each day or every other day, or one bigger thing every few days or every week. I think that one's really fun because you can get creative with it and you never know what it's going to do for somebody else. Like someone could be having a really, really bad day and that would just make their day. Words of affirmation is also really a good one, especially if maybe one of your friends or family members or your partner, that's their love language. They would really appreciate this. Just sending someone a nice text, email, or leaving them a nice voicemail to listen to, saying how great they are, appreciation for something they're doing, or just giving them some words of encouragement can be really great. And then also restricting time or giving up social media for the week, again, just to emphasize the fact that that's not a real connection and that it can also lead to a lot more self-comparison and kind of just make things a little bit tougher on us. So that's kind of all I have for you guys this week. We'll come back together on Friday and kind of discuss how it went. Pretty much the course will be wrapping up. I'll be sending out some surveys, really short, just to see how this went for you guys. Any questions?
Really good information. Thank you. Yeah. And on the social media, it is, I find it's just kind of an addiction, and I've tried to get off using it or looking at it so much. In the first few days, I would be sitting here working and then just suddenly pick up my phone and look at it. I'm like, why am I, I'd be in the middle of something. So it really, I mean, I realize it can be good for certain things, but there's a lot of negativity on there too. And that's kind of why I've tried to get away from it recently.
Very true. And I've done the same thing, middle of something and suddenly I just need to check my phone, need to check Instagram or something for no reason. So it is tough and it's definitely very addictive.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any questions, comments?
I was going to say for me that it's helped for my social media use is I've just deleted the apps on my phone. So if I want to use them, I have to log into my computer and use them on desktop. And I just find that the extra steps deter me a little.
Definitely.
Because it makes me have to do it more intentionally than just being able to quickly pick up my phone.
That's a really good idea. Definitely. And the desktop versions are always a little bit weirder than what we're used to on our phones. So might not even be that entertaining anymore to scroll on our desktops.
Oh, it's not as pleasant, so it makes it a little less addictive, at least for me.
Definitely. I'll leave it open. Anything else? If not, we'll finish up.